I've tried to come to grips with life as I was a student. I joined work at the age of 22. I started in New York with, at that time, the biggest bank in the world, Citibank. And I stayed with them for more than 25 years. The one thing they taught me in business school, in finance, and I was the #1 student, I'm not saying that to brag, but I was the #1 student in finance, was your job as a CEO is to maximize shareholders' value. Your job as a CFO is to make sure the CEO maximizes shareholder value. And when you maximize something, you get into mathematics. You start to look at present values and future values and interest rates and discounted cash flow methods and all of these things, numbers that are supposed to maximize the present value, the shareholder's value. Well, all of these very smart people have destroyed the entire value system that we know. So what went wrong? All of them had MBAs from Wharton, Harvard, Yale, MIT. They knew math like you know the name of your brothers, sisters. What went wrong? How could they destroy the entire value system instead of maximizing it? Well, it's very simple. They didn't understand value. Their concept of value was basically purely mathematics, and they forgot about ethics almost entirely. Maximizing shareholder value has had no component of ethics, of the ecosystem, of life itself. What is the present value of somebody that will be born in 1,000 years from now? In mathematics, he is worth nothing. But in reality, that somebody could be me and you, because 1,000 years ago, somebody could have asked the same question. So the present value and the future value are equal in ethics. What you do today matters, and what you do in 1,000 years matters. So everything you do matters. You cannot just look at the present value from a purely mathematical perspective, because that is totally irresponsible. And we see the outcome right now around the world. The outcome is devastating. What do we mean by ethics? Well, I'm not a teacher of ethics. I am still a student like you trying to understand ethics. But I do know one thing, that we all have values. And we have to understand what those values are. And we have to define them for ourselves. And we have to apply them in our day-to-day life. At home, at school, in your workplace. You cannot separate work from life. You can't just use your Casio calculator, your HP12C, to define what you do. Okay? There are more things that create value that are not programmed in your HP12C calculator. You will not find it there. Today, the world is upset. Today, the world is angry. I know some people, I have twin daughters, both of them are the same. They would not buy a jacket that is made of leather or that has fur because they think the world has become cruel to animals. And some will say we will not eat foie gras or what's it, goose liver, because there is a cruelty involved in the way we do it. Prince Charles says the same thing. There are some people who will not buy certain goods and services because they think the providers of these goods and services have basically abused nature or abused people to provide these goods and services. So the world is becoming aware. Our children are becoming aware, and they are voting with their money, they are voting with their voices, and they're voting in every which way they can. So I'm suggesting that in the business community, we need to catch up with that, because those young people don't subscribe to what we learned in school 30 years ago and 20 years ago. Maximizing shareholder value, looking at the discounted cash flow method to do that, using an interest rate model to do that. They are asking for something different, and they are calling for it. And in the business community, we have to understand that, and we have to factor this into our business model. Otherwise, we will lose them as customers. And I think that's the future trend that we are seeing. So bringing a human definition and a human dimension of value definition is very important to our business. I will give you now a little bit of a marketing pitch about the institution I work for, Abu Dhabi Islamic Bank. In Abu Dhabi Islamic Bank, we have focused on our ethics as a value proposition, on our values quite a lot. We've given this a lot of thinking because of what's happened around the world. And we brought the following 5 values. This is my initiative in the bank to bring a set of ethics based on values in the bank so that the people in the bank, the employees, start to put that in our service, in our culture, in our product offering, so that we meet the demand that's out there from our customers, the demand for ethics in what they buy and what they use. So we have introduced sensibility. Bring something sensible to your customer. Don't just throw things at them, okay? We brought transparency. We will not try to trick you. When we give you something, there is nothing hidden in the fine print. It's all in front of you. What you see is what you get. These are simple things. I think your grandmother and mine taught us that. There's no rocket science here. We have brought in the concept of mutual benefit as a third value. And the mutual benefit really means that if it is good for you as a customer and it's good for us, we will do it. But we start with you. And if we think, based on our best efforts, we could be wrong, but based on our best efforts, ijtihadna, if we think it's not good for you, we will not do it, even if it's very profitable. So the mutual benefit is an important value, not how profitable the product is for us. Okay. Tolerance is something we have brought in as a value in a financial services company. We think tolerance is very important. I don't mean by tolerance of gender and nationalities in the workplace. We take that for granted. We're supposed to do it. Saying tolerant with the customer. We finance people. We give them, they could lose their jobs. Something could happen. We have to be tolerant. We have to live with them through crisis and make sure that they are able to stand up on their feet again. Okay? And we're Sharia inspired. We are inspired by the Sharia principles. The values I have described to you right now are taken all from the Sharia, from the Quran. None of this is man-made. These are eternal. We say they have timeless value. And a timeless value means that the present value and the future value are equal, which means interest rate is equal to 0 in this concept.